Hello and welcome, and today I'm going to be sharing with you on customer service, and specifically I'm going to be talking about an area of service that I find that is very dear to me, and I think that I hope it will be very impactful for you as I speak and teach very briefly. Let me start by telling you a story. It's a customer service story. It's not closely related to what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk later about accountability, personal accountability as a key and important part of driving service. But let me start off by sharing this story. It happened to me about 4 or 5 months ago. I was flying on a Nigerian airline. I will not mention what airline it is, but if you know me and know how often I fly, you probably know the airline that I'm talking about. And I'm flying on this airline, and you know, I'm watching something. I have observed this for a few months as I have flown on this particular airline, that the air hostesses never really help people with their luggage. So you see sometimes an old man, you know, he's boarded the plane a bit late, so it means that he has to put his bags, you know, maybe way down the cabin, different from where his seat is. And you see this elderly 70-year-old gentleman, and he's struggling with the heavy bags. And you know, I think what happened was on this particular day that I recollect very well, he sort of stuffed his bag in one of the overhead, you know, luggage compartments, but he didn't place it very well. So it was sort of, you know, falling. And the air hostess, you know, as she's doing her rounds and clearing the aisle, looks at it and says, "Whose bag is this in 15B?" And the old man, who is sitting, you know, like a couple of spaces, I think, on my right, he raises up his hands and says, "Yes, that's my bag. That Sisi, please, young lady, can you help me to, you know, push it?" And she looks at him and she's like, "No, you have to come and do it yourself." So at that point, I look at myself and I then remember that I have seen this happen a couple of times. Not just on this airline, but on a number of airlines. And I said to myself, I try to, you know, people always say, "Michelle, you really try to make excuses for everybody." So I said, maybe the problem is that maybe there's some air safety regulation, you know, that says, in all the security, since 9/11, the world has never been the same. So maybe there's this issue around, you know, touching other people's bags in an airplane, and that maybe if you have a bag, you should touch your bag and by yourself. And I said, okay, that must be it, because I couldn't understand how this young lady, who has 2 times the energy of this older man, can't just help him to shove his bag properly into the luggage compartment. And then the old man looks at everybody around, he's a bit bewildered, you know, he gets up, goes there, you know, I can't imagine why this young lady will not help me to stuff my bag. And he comes back, you know, makes some remarks, you know, sighs, and whew. Anyway, he sits down and we continue flying. I'm sure everybody's wondering, "Michelle, where is this story going?" Here's where the story is going. 30 minutes into the flight, they serve us our refreshments and so on. There's an announcement that, oh, XYZ Airline supports XYZ charity, and we would appreciate any contributions you can make towards the charity. I said, okay. I start to watch. Guess what happens? The same air hostess walks to a particular lady, just like 3 seats in front of all of us now, and says, the lady says, "Yes, I'm sorry, I would like to make a donation to the charity." You know, and the lady says, "Okay, is it cash, check?" She said, "Oh, my purse is in my handbag, and my handbag is up there." And guess what the air hostess does? She turns around very swiftly, and she starts unlocking the cabinet. She says, "Which one? 15A? Okay, yes. Which color? Which bag? There's a blue bag, there's a red bag, green. So the green bag." The lady, the air hostess, drags out this heavy green bag and brings it to the lady and says, "Oh, thank you, ma." And ma opens the bag, brings out the wallet, and gives her some money for the charity. Ladies and gentlemen, at that point, I dropped everything I was doing, and I said to myself, hey, I thought air safety regulation said you couldn't go and get someone's bag. What's going on? People are responding to the things that are important to them, not to the things that are important to the customer. Think about this. So she's able to get a bag for somebody because she wants to get the lady to make a contribution to a charity, which is a good thing for the airline, isn't it? So the airline promotes this charity. When an old man needed his bag just to be shoved properly in a baggage compartment, the same person said, oh, come and do it yourself. I just wonder about service. But the real point that I want to make as we think about this story, and I'm sure as we reflect on this story, we can think about different situations of poor service. What I want to talk about briefly is about accountability. Because what I find is that you don't need a smiling face to be a good customer service person. I mean, it's good if you smile, and sometimes we put on this plastic smile, and that's useful. But what you really need is a true sense of accountability. That if a customer has a problem, you see, people ask me all the time, Bishop, when we think customer service, what do customers really want? Do you want to know? Customers want a solution. Customers don't want whining. They don't want complaining. They don't want no attention. They want a solution. Some of the worst things that we do in terms of personal accountability and not being accountable when we are serving customers is that, we sort of, what do you call it? We don't, what's the word? We trade blames. We start looking for who is responsible for the problem. Customers don't care about who is responsible. Customers want a solution. So in your head, when a customer has a problem, your first response isn't, who in the other department didn't do this right? The customer doesn't care. I've heard people say things like, the reason why we couldn't do this for you is because the accounting department had a problem. Guess what? Your customers do not care about your organizational chart. They don't care about the accounting department or the fund administration department. All they care about is a solution. If you want to drive service in your organization, then you must think about personal accountability. You must do everything that you can, that is within your limits and within your control, and you must push the barrier of service and deliver a solution. You don't tell a customer that the problem with our organization is that the management does not supply toilet paper on time. That's not what the customer cares about. The customer wants to see toilet paper. So give the customer toilet paper. Don't make excuses. Don't pass the buck. Don't work in silos. Be accountable. That's what drives customer service. Thank you.